got to get into the actual showcase. And look, I didn't get a chance to tell you guys when I did the live stream from LA. For me, it's a 9 out of 10. Is it a 12 out of 10? No. There were some games that were missing there that did not lower the score initially for me that I really kind of wanted an update on. But for what it was, 9 out of 10. Solid 9 out of 10. I think that's a damn good score. I think that they showed up and they showed out. Like I said, I have the same. So, of course, I want to give credit where credit is due because I am using their story. I pulled this list of games, from complete list of games from GameSpot.com. It says Xbox Game Showcase 2025, all the biggest announcements, and it's by Darren Bonthers. And, of course, this was posted on June 8th. I will add this to the show notes, so if you want to click it and read it, you can go read it. But I'm going to go first to Jamie Moran. Jamie, this show was I thought that the way that Xbox showed up was big, and they did answer all the questions. Again, to start, it had a bit of a disadvantage to it because of last year, right? They were going up against what happened last year, and last year is probably one of the best shows of all time. And I got to tell you, Tina Amini and the team and all the teams, all the developers that Xbox first party and their partners that worked on this thing, my God, they really showed up in a big way. Like I said, we'll talk towards the end of this conversation what your game of the show was. Mine hasn't changed. I actually had to split it. I could not pick one or the other. But wow, Jamie, let's get your thoughts on the showcase because again, as showcases stand, and this is not trying to be biased or console war-esque, this is probably the best show of the year so far. No doubt about it. They had so many games. And of course, a lot of first party that showed up looked insane. A couple of surprises in there. We got a chance to see Double Fine's game, which I think is going to be a hit. It just has that Tim Burton-like feel to it. And, when you look at Tim Schafer and his team, they're very artistic like that. I don't know what this game is. I know it's a lighthouse that came to life, but again, it has this creepy-esque, type of feel to it. I'm very excited for it. But again, big time show out by Xbox. Let's get your thoughts on the actual showcase, your highlights, your lowlights, and your score.
For me, I love the show. For me, when it comes to a video game showcase, it's all about the surprises. I absolutely hate going into a game showcase and having everything leak. Thankfully, this didn't happen this year. This isn't Xbox 2016 where it all leaks the day beforehand. I was pleasantly surprised. And, one of the first few games they showed off was High on Life 2. I was blown away by the first game when it came out in 2023 or 2022.
Yep.
Love that game. Hilarious, over-the-top first-person shooter with Metroidvania elements, and it looks like they're going way overboard with the same kind of stuff this time around, and I'm there for it. And it comes out this year. Like, they kept that game secret. I have no idea how. So, that game looks fantastic. Let's see. I have a big list here. Blood of the Dawnwalker. They showed off gameplay for that. It's made by CD Projekt Red developers. I'm already there. They could have just showed me a still frame of the logo and I would have been sold because of the developers. And I love what I see. If you're a Witcher fan, you're pretty much going to like that. Super Meat Boy 3D. I never thought about having this game in 3D would ever be a thing. But I'm happy it exists.
You didn't know you needed it until they showed you, and now you need it.
Yeah, I never once thought, but this ultra difficult game that made me want to rip my controller in half could be in a third dimension. So this time I get to be crap in 3 dimensions, which is really cool. And the new game still does that thing where it shows you all your previous runs. So that's going to be hectic. So I was pleasantly surprised to see that. And it's also launching a Game Pass. Beast of Reincarnation. This is made by Game Freak, right? Game Freak have been ripped apart for years for making games that look like they could run on a Casio calculator, right? And this game looks phenomenal, right? This is what Game Freak can do when they don't have to pop out a new game every 18 months.
I couldn't believe that was from that team, honestly.
Yeah, and the thing is, this was announced about 4 or 5 years ago with just a logo, right? It was just like showing some trees with the Game Freak logo on it, and it's finally here, and it looks really good. It just goes to show that that developer, they've got it, right? You know, Nintendo, the Pokemon company, they push them too hard. Imagine if they do a Pokemon game like this at some point, right? They know how to make a good game. This is that. Grounded 2 didn't leak. How the hell did Grounded 2 not leak? And it comes out next month, right?
Yeah. Early access. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I've been saying for years now that Obsidian is Xbox's best purchase. And
3 games this year.
Yeah, 3 games.
And think about that.
It's ridiculous. 2 RPGs and 1 survival game. Like, absolutely nuts. Their output is crazy.
6 games in 7 years since their purchase, Jamie.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let's see. Planet of Lana 2. Never thought that would get a sequel, but love to see it. Solo level and JRPG looks really good. Let's see. Persona 4 Revival.
Yeah.
No, I predicted this was going to be shown anyway, but I love to see it. It is a huge leap above the original, which was built for like the PlayStation 2 and then the PSP or whatever, or PlayStation Vita. And by the way, I think Persona 4 is absolutely amazing. So, like, if this is going to be people's first game, they're in for a treat. Next up, the Final Fantasy stuff, right? As I was saying before, like, I was live streaming, reacting to the thing, and my neighbors heard me when Final Fantasy 7 was announced, right? I thought I actually blew out like a vocal cord.
Jamie, don't come you in the house yelling "Cloud."
Yeah, I was absolutely nuts.
It's crazy because you talk about going nuts. Look, I'm a diehard Final Fantasy 7 fan. Like I can say I've told you the story before. Back in the days when it came out on PlayStation 1 in Japan, I beat that game with my good buddy back then. His name was Mike. And we beat it using FAQs. We printed it out on the printer. It was crazy. And then I beat it again. And it's probably in my top 5, top 10 games of all time, right? But like Nerds and Other Legends, shout out to you, brother. It was great to meet you in person. BT Maverick. There were quite a few people in this chat that were there. Bro. The crowd erupted. King David put the hands up like this. He was running around. It was so loud that Greenberg just jumped out of his chair and started recording. He was panning around. I'm getting goosebumps, folks. You had to be there. It was so electric. And I know, okay, PlayStation fans already played it and had it. Awesome. But the Xbox fans, I mean, everyone in that audience, again, go watch it. I have it on the fan reaction on my channel. It was electric, bro. Oh my God, Jamie.
Yeah, like I lost it so bad that I got a text off one of my friends in real life saying, "Jamie, are you okay?" Right? So, like, I was clearly excited. And it's coming this year. Finally. Funny thing is, I put out a video, I remember in December 2019 saying Final Fantasy 7 remake coming Xbox ? Well, here we are years later.
Here we are years later.
So I was right eventually. But you love to see it, and this is the most requested game on Xbox.
Yeah,
like the most requested, and then 16 afterwards with the Shadow Drop. I predicted the Shadow Drop, but I think a lot of people could have predicted that. But yeah, love it. And by the way, Square Enix gave me a bloody review code.
Wow, good for you, dude. That's awesome.
Thanks. Like, do you know how many times I've complained about Final Fantasy not being an Xbox, and like that was nice. And by the way, Final Fantasy 16 so far, bloody good. Not gonna lie,
wow.
It is amazing. But yeah, all the games that were shown were great. I mean, the biggest thing for me from the showcase was actually Clockwork Revolution. I've been wanting this RPG since they first announced it. It's a AAA steampunk RPG with time manipulation powers, right? We don't really get things like that often. And I loved what I saw when they first debuted it 2 years ago. And this year, it looks even better. Deep customization options, deep RP. This is In Exile being able to make what they want with money from Microsoft. In the past, In Exile, they've absolutely struggled to try and get money to make video games. Now that they have Microsoft's money, it's not an issue. And they are one of the best RPG developers in the business, but they've always been held back by the lack of funds. This is what they can do. The first-person shooter combat looks incredible. The detail in the game looks incredible. You have multiple different paths that can, the world changes based on like small and big choices. It looks so good in action. And, it doesn't have a release date, but honestly, I don't really care as long as it's good when it comes out. They can take as long as they want. So for me, that was like the game of the show. I think overall, Microsoft knocked it out of the park. I think there were some games there that I was shocked, or some games that I thought would have been there, like Contraband. I thought Contraband would have been there in some capacity because it was announced 4 or 5 years ago. Indie games like Replaced and, Exo Mecha. I thought those games would have been there. But I think Microsoft knocked it out of the park. I think not having Gears of War ED not there was a bit disappointing, but at the end of the day, like if you look at last year's show, that was a 10 out of 10 show. That was the best gaming showcase in my opinion ever. And like this year to have a 9, a 9's a damn good, right? Microsoft, they saved the summer showcase season this year again.
Yep.
And like I'm happy to be an Xbox gamer. I'm happy to cover Xbox. They actually have things to talk about. It's been wild, and obviously we're going to talk about the handheld in a bit, but Microsoft, they knocked it out at the park. I'm excited for all the games coming. There's a nice variety of games coming, which you love to see. And, the partner titles, the Game Pass titles, there's so many big titles coming to Game Pass. I left this out, and I forgot there's a game coming out called Mudang Two Hearts.
Oh, dude, phenomenal. Looks really good.
I thought that was Splinter Cell, right?
Yeah, so a lot of people thought that was Splinter Cell because it kind of looks like it. But I've been talking about this game for about 6 months on Twitter, and it's been called Project LT or something. And it, third-person shooter stealth game, that's right up my alley. And if Ubisoft isn't going to give us Splinter Cell,
I'll take it.
This company is, right?
I got excited as hell at first until I started seeing this girl with the blonde hair. I'm like, wait a minute, ain't no damn Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
And then I saw the Super Soldier. I'm like, oh, that's okay. It's not Sam Fisher. All right.
Yeah, and by the way, has anyone actually read the description of this game?
Read it for us, Jamie.
So I'll try and find it now, but basically, it looks like you play as a K-pop star that turns into a secret agent.
Oh,
wow. So
he's a K-pop star.
Yeah, so like it's very different, but like in a world where we don't get new Metal Gear games, we don't get Splinter Cell ever, Ubisoft. This is going to be very good for people, and I can't wait, man. Overall, 9 point. I'll just give it a 9 out of 10. Great show, and I think if this is just a taste of what Microsoft's got coming.
Oh yeah, dude.
I mean, I can't wait, and plus, like if you have Obsidian that can pop out like 50,000 games in 2 years, I think that, you look at Ninja Theory, they have multiple teams working on different games. You have the Coalition, which are apparently working on multiple games. Like, I think if you're an Xbox fan and you can step back from the whole, like, we talked about multi-platform games and being upset about multi-platform crap. Like, as a gamer, I'm satisfied. We have the biggest JRPGs on the planet coming to Xbox finally. So, like, as a consumer, as a content creator, I'm bloody happy.
Indeed. So I just got a DM from Paris Lilly, who I got a chance to hang out with over the weekend. He's going to be joining us momentarily to get his hot take on it. But Umbra, a 9 out of 10 from Jamie, 9 out of 10 from me. I think it was a damn good, solid showing by Xbox. I mean, most of the games shown are on Game Pass. I think there were a couple of like really big moments. For me, it was the Invincible versus Everyone. I lost my shit.
That looks pretty
I
dope.
probably lost my voice as well. And the Final Fantasy VII stuff, like when Cloud jumped down, the crowd erupted. Again, there was a lot to get excited about. There were a lot of games shown at Game Showcase, and again, it wasn't better than last year, and I didn't think it had to be. Again, for me personally, there were some updates that I was hoping for. I was hoping an update for State of Decay 3. I was hoping for maybe some information on Forza Horizon 6. I was hoping any Halo information at all. And but we did kind of get that, because again, if you go back and you listen to what Phil Spencer said, he basically confirmed that Gears, Forza, and a long-running franchise are making their return, i.e. Halo, are coming next year. The Trinity will be celebrating the 25th anniversary of the platform with new games. So next year is gonna kill. But let's talk about this showcase. Your score, your standouts, for your personal picks of the show, and what you overall think of the actual showcase.
So there are a few things. I hate to say that I'm not in alignment with you all on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the show, but they made some choices that I did not care for.
Okay, that's fair.
And there was some exemptions that I felt should have been there. Now next year is going to be crazy. I'm already telling myself, hey, don't go pay pig this time, and keep your money so you can go and go to LA, right? Because like you said, 25th anniversary, we're definitely going to see Halo, we're going to see Gears, E-Day, we're going to see Forza, we're going to see Fable, we're going to see all these things, State of Decay probably, et cetera, et cetera. But not having Everwild, not having Contraband, not having State of Decay 3, and not seeing any of those or hearing anything about them or Halo or Gears definitely left a bit of a void for me. Where I was like,
I mean, that's a fair criticism, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I wish they would have shown at least Everwild something. When they showed the Game Freak game, I was like, could this be it? You got the mystical reindeer that a person started chopping up, whatever. I'm like, okay, no, that can't be that. Game Freak. I'm like, no, that's not that. So, yeah, just those exemptions, those missing, kind of took a little bit of them for me. And also, I would say the final thing they did that I'm getting the bad out of the way first, if you all just to get it out of the way.
So it's your time, brother.
The final thing was them showing Call of Duty the way they did. It's like, why did you do that?
Yeah,
because everybody that was watching it in the watch party, and I'm sure everybody in the chat would agree, when we see that, you're like, oh man, wait, could this be Quantum Break?
Yeah.
You start seeing the Doctor Strange-esque world he turns into. It's like, oh, okay, wait, could this be like Alan Wake? Like 2, 3? Like what is this, right?
I actually thought it was Alpha Protocol, to be honest.
You see what I mean? Like our minds start going everywhere. And I know that was the brother from Heroes, by the way. So I'm like, okay,
actor.
Yeah.
I was like, is that Peter Petrelli?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, okay. Everybody's hyped. You see the butterfly. I'm like, see butterfly effect. I'm like, Quantum Break, right? Like,
yep.
Call of Duty, Black Ops 7. I'm like, oh, thanks. Now I say that only because, mind you, this is my perspective. I know everybody loves Call of Duty. I know you're a Call of Duty mark, for instance, right?
Yep.
Me, I'm not a big Call of Duty fan, right? So I'm already kind of like, Now I will play through the campaign because I want to see what this trippiness is about to be about. And to its credit, it's a co-op campaign, so that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah,
so maybe somebody can carry me or something. I don't know, but Call of Duty is big. I just felt like, why not put that earlier?
That could have been in the middle.
Yeah, you know what
Yeah.
should have been at the end? And Jamie
Halo.
already said it was the game of the show.
Clockwork.
Revolution should have been the end of the show. It was that damn good. That was the star right there, clearly. Like seeing all the time effects, seeing them to go through history and time and pulling the bullets back through. It was like, oh, this is dope. Rewinding things and pulling structures up to block, give him cover so he can, stop people from shooting them. Seeing an RPG element, seeing all, that you actually picking the words and having a person talk. It's not just read dialogue. You can see in Exile, it's in their bag right here. And like Jamie said, they have the budget to actually bring that vision forward. And it's crazy good to see it. To be fair, we all knew Clockwork Revolution was going to be crazy when we first saw it. Like we all saw it. It was very clear.
I agree.
But seeing it actually play out and see the gameplay, you like, yeah, this game is going to be spectacular, right? So those things, all of that. So okay, I got that out of the way.
Okay.
Part of the issue I also had too was this, and Colt kind of highlighted this. Now, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, so I'm going to kind of end it on this. Some of the things where you kind of getting updates, I know they have to do business, but it's like I don't.
You're talking about like Fallout 76.
Exactly.
So yeah, Sea of Thieves. I mean, I know they have to be there.
Online.
Yeah.
I feel like you can show that in the, I don't know, after a little side show or blog or something. Those things, I feel like those are just kind of padding. So, but let's look at the good stuff now.
Right.
Outer Worlds 2 looked great.
It looks phenomenal.
Having a surprise like Planet of Lana 2, which I love the first Planet of Lana.
So
excellent. Solo leveling, seeing that. The at Fate's End looks spectacular. I don't know what the combat style quite is, but it looks unique. I like the art style as well. Super Meat Boy 3D looked dope.
Yeah.
Super excited about that. I used to love Meat Boy. Persona 4 actually showing up as many people predicted. The remake or the remake, I think for that's a remake. Dawn Walker, like you pointed out, Jamie, looked spectacular. I mean,
Beast of Reincarnation looked phenomenal.
The Reincarnation. But for Dawn Walker actually having the former Witcher devs on it, you could see the DNA all in it in the game.
It kind of looks very Witcher-esque. Yes,
it did. Combat was probably better animated than The Witcher, maybe, but you could see the DNA of it. Had no idea what in the world There Are No Ghosts that the Grand was, but it looked intriguing enough.
It's so weird. I want to play it just because it's that weird.
I don't know. I'm like, am I cleaning up a mansion in the city? And then all of a sudden she started solving puzzles and putting lines that like, oh, this leads to this. And I'm like, I'm doing a mystery now. What? Am I Scooby-Doo in the gang? What's going on? Chronos we had already seen. That looked really good though. Aphelion, that looked dope. The space faring game. That looks like it's gonna be dope. Invincible Versus, as you said, boom, looks spectacular.
Blew me away.
Cell shading visuals, whatever that it was, looked dope as hell. Seeing Resonance, a Plague Tale. Now that was another problem because they had already shown that the other day. Resonance, it was shown the day before at So that one's like, it was like, okay, cool. We saw more of it here, but whatever.
That one kind of that one was kind of a banana in a tailpipe situation. I thought it was Rise 2.
It kind of did look like Rise, didn't it?
When I saw it, I literally was like, oh my god, are we getting Rise 2?
Yeah, it did kind of look like it. I will admit. And then, of course, seeing DLC for Indiana Jones, that's cool. And The Keeper from Double Fine. That was finally good to see what they were doing with the Kyun that we knew about all along, and it's finally coming out. So that was cool. And then, of course, to top it off, I guess the coup de grace, the handheld. Now, we've already known about the handheld, too. I wish that we hadn't known until this point. That would have probably been like a real heavy hit right there, right? I wrote on Twitter the other day, like I'm a big rock fan. I'm often talking about it with my boy Black John in the chat, Rock Goons. I love the Rock Ally. So now I'm going to get rid of this one to get that. At first, I was like on the fence, like, but I'm like, well, it's got the Z2 in it, Z2A Extreme, A1 Extreme. Yeah, this is a crazy good upgrade. And I was talking to Kay, of course, about this and going over some things, and we had already talked about this before, which is that like Strix Point APU and things like that. This is close to or tied to that, right? So he gave me some game on that. So definitely going to upgrade to this, and I'm going to have to sell this one off. So I love that they have this unified like UI and everything that takes people, because a lot of worries for people were, I don't want to have to deal with Windows. So they kind of solved that.
See, that device that you saw and how it's set up is exactly what I need in my life. Like it's everything I could want, because I'm not a PC guy, and it's going to get me right to the games. And if I decide I want to do something else, the option is there, but I don't have to.
That's true.
That's why I'm buying this. And
also, of course, having the fact of us being able to play all throughout, from Steam to GOG to Epic, having all of that streamlined right to the experience where wherever you buy it, it's there. You can pull it through there and play it. Dope. Yeah. And of course, the ergonomics with the controller feeling like the Xbox controller on the sides. Beautiful work. overall. It is a bit bulky, but I can deal with that. I'm going to have it plugged up anyway to get the best. I'm going to be fine. I can't speak for everybody else's arm. You better start lifting and get your arms like Paris or something. But other than that, I thought it was a great show.
What's your score? What's your overall score?
Last year was a masterpiece.
Last year is 12 out of 10. Very hard to replicate for sure.
And I think all of those things combined, and I think having such an expectation of what they did last year kind of gave me. I probably expected too much. You know what I mean?
Probably all.
So
did.
Because of that, I came to a 7.5, and I wanted it to be a 9 and all of that for me. And I could probably be convinced of an 8. I'm on a line of 7.5 and 8 for me, but 7.5 is where I landed.
So 7.5 for you, 9 for me, 9 for Jamie. I absolutely agree with you that there were some things that were missing. I do always feel, and again, you said it, I think they have to do the business of Fallout 76. They have to do the business of, ESO. They have to do the business of, Sea of Thieves. And those games are important to their business. But I agree with you. I think they could be done at a separate show where this should just be games that are new and coming out, updated for games. And again, I still think it was a 9, but I do think there was some fluff there. And I said it on my live stream from LA on Sunday afternoon. I was a bit disappointed that we didn't get an update to Halo. I was hoping to get something updated for Gears of War E-Day, and that's okay. We got Gears of War Reloaded. It looks great. The multiplayer beta is dropping in a couple of days. That's very exciting for anyone that's going to get down with multiplayer. I was hoping for something of an announcement for Forza Horizon 6 and where that was going to be. It does seem, and I don't want to say like wait for next year, but it does seem that their plans for 2026 are going to be bombastic. And they really wanted all of these games, the new Gears, the new Halo, the new Forza to be a big part of that, simply because it is celebrating the 25th anniversary. And that is the holy trinity when you talk about Xbox.
That's why I say next year I think is going to be crazy. And now I want to give one qualifier too. Sure. I already own Final Fantasy 7 on PC, played through 16 already, so I'm happy as hell that those are finally coming over, especially 7 remake. Been 5 years in the making. I know everybody is geeked. I saw a few people like, I got the full Final Fantasy collection now on Xbox.
Yeah, the Xbox platform is the only place that you can actually get every Final Fantasy.
That is dope, and it's about time they finally did that. So a lot of my perspective, so just for anybody who's like, oh no, Umbra, don't say 7.5. Keep in mind that all of this is coming.
You're allowed to have a score,
but it's all coming from the perspective of things I've already played, things I had already seen.
Right.
Some of the stuff they showed we already saw, and I guess the handheld, we already saw as well. So that's where it's coming from for me. I would have liked more surprises, but what they did show did have me excited enough that I look at it like their roadmap is crazy good. We got I think they announced 4 different games. Oh yeah, I forgot all about Grounded 2. Forgot to mention that. Super excited about Grounded 2. That looks damn good.
And that's the 3rd game from that studio this year.
Yeah, Obsidian.
That's
I
6
agree with
games
Jamie.
In 7 years since they've been acquired. Umbra.
That studio crazy. That Microsoft has picked up outside of course, ABK studio. I got to give them credit. I mean, there's plenty of money they're making from. But as far as workhorses, you can't ask for much more than that from anybody you picked up. Also, I'll just say this last thing. It'll be fine and fun to actually take the bugs and ride on top of them instead of running terror from them. So because I already told Risk It, hey, we're gonna jump on this, but as soon as those spiders start chasing your ass, you are on your own. Because I don't play that. I'm not Spider-Man. You will be though. Get food. But yeah, well, listen, those spiders are again. That's why they have the blobs, because a lot of people are afraid of them. But listen, I like your score. I like the way you broke it down. But we got to bring in the one, the only Paris Lily. Paris, my brother. It was so great to hang out with you, Rihanna, Danny, the community. You got a chance to get hands on the handheld. Obviously, you were a big part of the community
fan fest that was there because you were up on stage and you were one of our, one of the guests. Let's get your insight, your thoughts on the showcase, man.
Well, first, let me just say, because you started saying it at the top, the highlight of just being at Summer Game Fest was the community fan event. Yep. And seeing what Ben and Hargeet and everybody did to put that together, and just being a small part of that, being able to kind of, open it up with Danny, Rihanna, and Khalif. And, we just kind of gave our perspective on community and, content creation, all that stuff. And the fact that Aaron Greenberg and Jason Ronald were there, along with some other people from Xbox, decided to, attend as well. I thought that was big. It's always, like I said at the event, it's always great for the in-person things. That's why we do all of this.
Exactly.
And I'm just, I felt like I was up there rambling at one point, but I'm glad everyone had a good time. And it was just a lot of fun. I was very impressed. Like I told Ben Sunday night, hey, this was version 1.0. You'll get lessons learned from this. You'll have more time to plan. The one that you do next year will be even bigger and better. So really excited to see what they'll be able to pull off. Now, as far as showcase goes, again, it was great to have that energy while we were watching it. Everybody, I got Hip Hop Gamer right behind me, grabbing me every 2 seconds when they were showing a game.
That guy has enough energy for 10 people by himself.
Oh my God. But that's why I love that dude, because that is genuinely who he is. And I always love him for that. But yeah, it was great to be in the crowd to see all that. So I said before the showcase, like a week or so ago, I was like, yeah, this is going to be another 9.5 because look, all the stuff that we know about plus stuff that we don't know about, they're going to have a bunch of great content, kind of half jokingly. And then we got the showcase and then I quote tweeted and I just said 9.5 and I started seeing the chaos on social media because, it's social media. So I just muted it and moved on. Yeah. But I don't truly believe it was a 9.5. What in a perspective, what I feel is like I was lucky enough. I got to have a conversation with Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, and Sarah Bond Sunday night, and we were talking about it. And what I said was this was solid. It was a solid showcase. It was virtually impossible to follow up what you did last year. That's like a once a decade kind of showcase that you're going to be able to pull off, right? And Umbra, I heard all that you were saying, and I totally get it. I also feel like, where the hell is Everwild? Just for the simple fact that we don't know what it is. I want to see it. I'm kind of okay not having Contraband just yet, but I think this showcase did two things. You got a solid stream of games that are coming this year in 2025 that you're going to be able to play. The majority of them, I'm excited to get hands on and play, right? And then what Phil said at the very end is important, and you guys already alluded to that. Don't forget, next year is the 25th anniversary.
Yes.
It's the 25th anniversary of Xbox, the 25th anniversary of Halo, and the 20th anniversary for Gears of War. So next year is going to be a celebration of Xbox. So it kind of makes sense, if you look at it from that perspective, that no, you're not going to see that stuff in this showcase because they're going to treat 2026 as a big celebration of Xbox, right? That's why you're going to get a Forza next year. That's why you're going to get, I'm assuming, a Halo CE remake, obviously Gears of War, E-Day, Fable, things like that, because they're going to celebrate their tentpole IPs in the 25th anniversary year. So I get it. I understand people have expectations this year. Why didn't you see this? Why didn't you see that? But they're kind of saving it because they're going to be able to just go all out next year with that. So I get it.